And we're back.
Again. Episode 6.
6, cool.
I'm surprised we made it to 6. A little bit.
Why? The agreement when we started this, which we agreed over holiday break, Christmas break, was to not stop.
Non-stop.
To not stop for 2024. We reassess at the end of the year. But that's a whole year. So, you get a really good vantage point at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm good with it.
The shorts are doing pretty well. That's exciting. It's like from 100 views a month on the YouTube channel that was stagnating to like 12,000, something like that. So that's nice.
Yep.
It's a positive, net positive.
Net positive. Just need to get a little bit more on our Instagram channels, but
Yeah.
that's why we need more bandwidth.
Could repurpose it all out, make it all happen at one time, blow it up.
We need more bandwidth. There's always more.
Well, now that I got the Meta Quest 3, I might.
I was gonna say, you hit me with that on the way in. Hey, you're gonna be mad. You're not gonna be mad, but you're gonna be mad. Is audio recording, by the way?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Oh, that would have been for
Praise
nothing. But yeah, you're like, oh, you're gonna be mad, not mad. I'm like, mad, not mad. Okay, go continue. So you got it this past weekend.
Yeah. I ordered it. It was like same day shipping. So I was like, whatever, let's just do this.
Okay.
Put it on the business card. Let's just see what happens. So I order it, and I'm a little skeptical. I'm watching like videos about it, and obviously there's all the like pros and cons about the Apple Vision and the Meta Quest and like what's better and this and that. But for the cost, there was no chance I was going to spend $3,500 on the Apple Vision Pro.
Nope.
Not a shot. Just for like, I put a chip in my brain before I spent.
For $3,500, you'll put a chip in your brain.
And that's starting yes. But that's starting. It's actually more than $3,500. Like
really?
if you want the higher
battery,
gigabytes and
battery life
or
and all
you
that.
need an extra battery, like you're dropping like 4, 5.
Welcome to every Apple product.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You want the insurance, you want the extra battery power. Yeah, Ray, I just hit you with
that.
Yeah, which because the front is glass, tell me you're not going to whack something and shatter that front.
Did you see Jerry Rig Everything's video?
No, did he break it?
Oh, more than broke. It's like in shambles, but that glass is laminated glass.
Okay.
So it scratches from like a quarter rubbing against it, or like your house keys rubbing against it. Like it, like not just a gouge, pretty much. And then he puts any kind of blade on it. It's like a scale like 10 or something like that.
Yep.
He's actually picking glass from it. Crazy. But Meta Quest 3 doesn't have that problem, and it's way cheaper.
Significantly. So you were saying that you were playing chess with someone in New York.
Yes. Yeah.
How was that experience?
It was literally like this. There's a chessboard between us, and it measures your hands. You can see your hands, do all the sort of stuff, and you pick up a piece. Now, when you pick up a piece, there's like you feel something, right? There's like some kind of haptic thing going on. And you would think, oh, it's not going to feel like that, but it feels like you're picking up a piece. Your fingers are just touching, but in your brain, something's happening where you're like, this is definitely in my hands right now. You pick it up and place it. And I'm just in the park waiting for the guy to load in. All of a sudden, he just like kind of comes into the world. He said, hey, how you doing? We shake hands. And my wife's watching me.
And you felt that?
No, I didn't feel that. But like, that was the only one part that you didn't feel. But it's happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're in this moment together right now, shaking hands. And my wife's looking at me like, imagine me with these like weird goggles on my head. And I'm just like, hey, how you doing? To thin air, from the outside perspective. But inside, we're in a park. We're in Brooklyn. We're playing chess. We're talking to each other. The guy's coming to Tampa tomorrow. We might meet. Like,
that's funny.
So weird. So the immersion was just crazy. When you're in a fully immersed world, there's no weirdness. Like, you really feel there. When you're doing the pass-through display, which is one of the big selling points on everything right now, that's a little weird. Like, you definitely feel like on-world is what I've been saying, is the terminology I've been using. It's just kind of grainy and a little weird. Like, we've definitely been tricked by marketing and advertising and influencers on like the quality of all these things.
Well, the quality when you record, which is what we're seeing in all these YouTube videos, is higher than what you're actually seeing in the optics
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. Like, on one hand, I understand, like, it makes sense that it can record at a higher resolution, but it's also unfortunate that it's not giving us the same quality. That's definitely an unfortunate element, and I've said it from the get go. I mean, you were making fun of me pretty hard when I said, I'm buying these, which I was completely just joking.
I really thought you might show up with it at one point.
I fully intend. I just had a full-on conversation about this with my buddy Andrew, or Artoski.
Andrew Artoski?
Yeah.
Man, Genie Master.
So he and I were having a
Streamlining.
full-blown conversation about this the other day. I fully intend on buying version 2. Like,
Okay.
you're hearing it here first. I fully intend on buying version 2, but
That's like a few years away.
I understand, and I'm fine with that. I have no intentions on buying version 1, the version that's currently out.
Yeah.
I know that it's only like this is the worst it's gonna be, and that's what's crazy. Is It's still a remarkably cool, creative, integrated tool into our digital life.
Yeah.
But if this is the worst it will be, it'll only get better. And
Right.
that's just a crazy concept to comprehend and think about, right? And that's why I'm like, $3,500 for version 1, I'm not buying that. It's not happening. But call it $3,500 for version 2, where it gets exponentially better. Yeah, I'm going to get the credit card points on that one. Like, for sure.
You'll drop $3,500 if it's still that price?
Yeah.
On version 2?
Yeah, on version 2. Because I believe that it's going to be exponentially better. It's
Than Meta's? Or just better than it is?
better than it is. Now,
That's the thing.
Now, you could get me on Meta's version 2 if theirs grows.
Version 4. They're on 3 right now.
They're on 3 right now. I could maybe be persuaded for the next version.
I think
but-
you could easily be persuaded to go to Meta.
But theirs needs to be exponentially better as well. The visuals and the computer capability. That's what I'm looking at. Is Apple's
My
ability
friend,
to
it's
connect.
already exponentially better than Apple's, which is crazy. You'll put it on.
Yep.
You'll put it. The main reason I bought it is for workflow, right?
Yep.
Like I tried the gaming, and that's fun. It's just like I know how I am with gaming. I'll play it for a few days, get hooked, and then I'll be done. The workflow aspect of it is what I'm most excited about. And Apple's workflow right now, people are complaining about. People aren't complaining about workflow on Quest. Quest can wirelessly PC connect to my computer or any computer. It could go to an Apple computer, and it'll put up my display. I can open versions of my displays and put them anywhere I want.
Okay.
This is a crazy thing that people see in the Apple one is like, I can grab my display and put it on a wall and leave and come back to that display.
Yes.
So in this studio with my Meta Quest, because it's wireless, I don't have to be hooked to anything at all. It's wirelessly connected to the PC. I could put a computer monitor up in that room. I could put a virtual mirror on that mirror that's over here instead. I could put a 2 stories virtual logo here and map it and save it. So anytime I put that headset back on in here, I just have all these different displays. I can have YouTube in the bathroom, the best place to use it, you know? and that sort of deal. And the fact that it stays there, yes, Apple's does this too, but Meta has been doing this. Meta Quest 3 came out 3 months ago. So it's been doing that.
Yep.
The only difference is the visual quality. It's like 2K upscaled to 4, and then Apple's is 4K, and that's it. It's not upscaled. But, you know, you still have these weird like tunnels
Yep.
around you. You still get them in the Apple one. There's still like chromatic aberration. There's still in the Apple one there's like frame rate issues. So if you're looking like right at this mic, there's frame rate
Yes.
differences going on in the corner.
And that's something that I know a lot of people are actually returning their headsets because they're having like heavy headaches because the frame rate, because of so there's not only the frame rate issues, but people are also talking about having like wiggle when they place a screen on the wall, for example, right? And they're looking over here, corner of their eye, there's like a vibration going on. It's messing with their heads and giving a semblance of a headache because it's, even though it's on the wall, at times it doesn't 100% stay there. So it's kind of doing one of these like small little movements.
That's weird.
And think about like when you're in your room, right, or your office, wherever, and you think you see something corner of the eye, and it's just like a leaf moves.
Yeah.
Imagine that happening all the time, but like in this like little like vibration or movement. So some people are saying like that's remarkably trippy, but then also being in that world with wrong frame rates at various times and that movement is giving people headaches.
Yeah.
On top of the fact that you're in a digital world, right? So of course your eyes are struggling, your brain's struggling to fully comprehend. So people are getting headaches and returning this because of that. And I'm like, I hate to say it, but like that's kind of an obvious byproduct of going into a virtual world. Like it's gonna happen. People said that about 3D with the blue and the red glasses when you go to a amusement park, right? Like, and you do the 3D the 3D theaters, the old school 3D theaters. Like I remember all the time my mom having headaches with that, or if
my mom was the same way,
and she couldn't handle it. I mean, that was the cheapest form of 3D, those blue and red, plastic cardboard glasses.
Those were the days.
Yeah, right. Like think about where we are now.
That was lit when you went to the movie theater, bringing a date. You're like, yeah, we're going to see a 3D movie. Babe.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, this is great.
This is fancy. Oh, you fancy, huh?
You're rich.
Oh, you fancy. Yes, I am. So I mean, people are dealing with a lot of headaches with it, and again, it's the technology is going to grow. It's only going to get better. I'm fully in on buying one, whether it's Apple's second version or Meta's fourth version, maybe fifth version, because they're coming out a little faster, obviously, than Apple is. I think it's remarkable for our industry, for technology just in general, and the immersion of seeing all the different screens and workflows and creative processes. I'm not buying one right now, but again, next version, 2 versions away, I will 100% be in and be buying one.
You know what I think you would really like, and I just experienced this last night, is watching a movie on it. I'm not a movie guy. I might become one because the immersion in the movie is insane. This is where you have to buy 2. Apple's would be very expensive in this case, but your wife can have one on and you can have one on and you can be in a movie theater.
Yep.
Or like last night, I just blacked out everything and had the biggest display in the world on. And I was watching Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And it was like a 300-inch TV. And I was just like, oh my God, this is crazy. I'm laying in bed just looking up to the sky with this thing on.
That's cool.
Watching Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And I was telling my wife, I'm like, can you imagine if you had one of these on too? Like, I'd be able to see you right there, your avatar, which is kind of weird. But we could be watching a gigantic movie. The speakers come right down in your ears. It's like perfect stereo. It's just absolutely insane.
It's Ready Player One.
I haven't seen that movie. I'm afraid to at this point.
You need to see it because that's what this is. Yeah. That's what we've turned into, and that's where we're heading is Ready Player One, which is crazy because that movie came out 4 years ago, 3 years ago.
It's longer than that. You think 4 years ago? Keep talking. I'll look it up.
I think it came out 4 years ago. To the point that I'll stick to my answer. I think Ready Player One came out 4 years ago, and here we are.
Pretty much 2018.
Oh, okay, all right. So 5.5. So tiny bit off, but all right. And we're in this world. That's where we are now, and it was almost telling 5.5 years ago when this came out. But I don't think anybody thought we would have this sort of technology again 5.5 years later. Even though it was obviously being tested at that point,
someone had it.
So he was pulling references from somewhere to create that, and then here we are with Meta and Apple's little miniature optic war that is going on.
It's crazy. I don't know who's gonna win the battle though. I feel like people are making references. Cause Mark Zuckerberg did this video where he was like trashing Apple, basically.
Of course.
Like, he was being very polite and very calculated on the phrasing of everything he said, but basically trashing Apple.
Oh, 100%.
And I forget the name of who it was, but there's a reference that everyone's calling back to when like Windows trashed Apple, and then Apple became like the it computer and the it phone or whatever the case is. Everyone's like, are you sure you want to do this, Mark? Are you sure you want to do this, Zuck? Like, you want to call these people out because they could just the reiteration blow you out of the water. And he's like, no, I'm pretty confident. We own everything. So they're going to have a hard time making applications and things like that. But I don't know. I have faith after putting the Quest on, even though I haven't put the Apple one on, that Quest is like, there's way more depth to what you can do on it.
I believe it. I mean, and there's something to be said for price point. Price point is going to put this product in more people's hands so they can work through kinks, problems, and what's desired, quite frankly, for the market faster because they're going to have more to test off of.
If you think about it, Apple sold me on a Meta one because I was so interested from the hype from Apple, but I wouldn't pay that price, and I bought a Meta one.
They funneled you over.
Even Meta's winning.
Yep.
In that sense.
That price is going to dictate a lot. I mean, if that price puts it into 5x more people's hands, they have that much more data to go off of. And if they have that much more data to go off of, they can decide which avenues they want to pursue, whether that's app integration, whether that's resolution, both potentially. They're going to get 5x more data to dictate Quest version 4.
Yeah. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you to put it on. I can even stream it to my phone to see what you're seeing and like kind of walk you through.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Not going to lie. All right. From there, next topic point is from good old Mr. Beast. Quality versus quantity. Exploring the debate surrounding the importance of quality content versus the quantity of content on your social media and YouTube platforms.
I feel like you've got a strong opinion about this.
Oh, I always have strong opinions about this. But what's crazy is my opinion from, call it, 18 months ago to today has changed a little. I mean, 18 months ago, I would have been quality, F quantity. Couldn't convince me otherwise. Here we are 18 months later, and what did I just say? 3 qualities?
Yeah.
To one.
Two.
Let's say I said 3. I'm going to stick to 2 now. So I'm going to dim back just a touch.
Yeah.
I still hold firm that quality matters, but that quality can look different nowadays.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to have a cinematic masterpiece semblance of quality because it really matters where the product is going, right? It really matters where the product is going, and that dictates the quality that you deliver.
Yeah.
If you are shooting some sort of high-level narrative project, short film, feature film, a documentary with a budget, a commercial with a budget, anything like that, right? You want to ensure that the quality is of utmost importance because you're delivering one of them. That's the quantity component, right? But if you're coming into a client's project and there's 15 deliverables, the quality needs to still come down to meet that amount of quantity. But I still hold firm that there needs to be quality control within those 15 pieces of deliverables.
Yeah.
So, and this is kind of the line of thinking that I know would have been different 18 months ago. Kevin 18 months ago would have said, no, doesn't matter if there's 15 deliverables, each piece needs to be kept to the highest standard of quality.
Yeah.
Here I am 18 months later, slightly changing my tune, but that's the beauty of where we are nowadays, right?
I mean, when you're on a time constraint and you have 15 deliverables and you need them all to be the same quality, you're just like gonna struggle massively.
You're gonna
stay
fail
inside of that time.
You're gonna
constraint.
fail. Between sorry to interrupt you, but between time constraints and budget constraints, you're gonna fail. Like there's no way you succeed because in some some restrictions going to hit that causes the failure to occur.
Yeah.
And guess who's to blame? You. Like the client's going to blame you because you over promised and under delivered. You have to rein in that quality component to a certain degree to meet the expectation that's presented to the client.
Imagine like having to tell your G&E team to relight and your grip team to re-rig everything for every vertical shot, you know? You'd have to have a lot of time to do that. And at this point, it's mostly like, let's light and frame for the big wide that we're doing, and then let's just micro tweak everything to get the verticals on. And you're right, it does matter about who it's going to. Like, literally last night, my aunt is in town, and she's hanging out with my mother. They're looking for a movie to watch, and they're asking me, like, what do you think? Me, horrible movie suggestions.
Yep.
People should know this about me. But I was just kind of going off of what is everyone saying. I was like, okay, what about that new Bradley Cooper movie, that Maestro? It's like a Emmy Award nominated or whatever, something like that. And it's supposed to be like a master class in acting and in cinematography and storytelling.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, just pull up the trailer, see what you think. And they're like, this looks so boring. I was like, really? I'm like,
it didn't fit for them.
yeah, what are you looking for? And my aunt's like, blood, gore. I'm like, oh, I probably should ask you that first.
Yep.
But I was like, yeah, you're right. You don't care about the storytelling masterpiece. You want to see someone get like annihilated on film. I'm like what, Saw? And she's like, yes. I was like, well, then you already know what to watch.
Yeah.
Just go watch the new
Saw
movie.
1, 2,
Any of them.
3, 4, 5. I mean, there's plenty of options.
Pick your Saw. But I was just, it really like, I was like, okay, you know, in a lot of situations, people don't care, you know, what it looks like. Even there's this train of thought that's happening right now, and I'm sure you've heard it, where actually we talked about it with Robbie on episode 5, is you're so used to looking at phone quality these days that there's something natural about watching a video that was recorded on the phone. It just feels more normal to you. It's normalized, right? Where you could see something that's like super maestro, super cinematic, like masterclass sort of deal, and be like, that's too much for me right now.
Yep.
You know?
You're not in the right headspace.
Right. So didn't we had a job that someone said, we want you to film vertically. We want you to use a good camera, but we want it to look like a phone. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That tells you all you need to know.
Yeah. It was, yeah. I know exactly what job you're talking about. And I think we met that expectation. We brought back some of our lighting techniques, made it a little flatter in some situations to meet that request. And I know they're using the footage all the time. So clearly it's liked because it's being posted all the time. Beauty of social media, you can see all your stuff with various clients and see how regular or irregular the content's being utilized. But yeah, that was a request. And the A-cam, which was for all the horizontal content, was the Alexa 35 footage. And for those scenes, we lit it beautifully, ensured that quality control was there for every single shot. So hitting those two deliverables, it was a very unique job. Wish we could say more about it, but it was very unique that we were able to do everything horizontal, as cinematic as we can make it, and then vertical still with an FX3. So there was good capture quality, but we had to flatten the lighting out a little bit more and really make sure that it kind of had that phone semblance, but still, again, quality in mind. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Mr. Beast, the topic point here, you know, he says all the time, like, meet your quality. How does he word it? He says, meet the video where the quality needs to be. Or am I saying that backwards? Meet the quality where the video needs to be. So what he means by that is, if it's a YouTube only video, you don't necessarily need to shoot it with the Alexa 35, for example.
Right.
But still keep quality in mind, but for what it needs to be.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of And a lot of his quality, so yeah, that's like video quality, but then a lot of it is like, what is the quality for the person who's watching it? Like Maestro had poor quality for the person I was suggesting to.
Yes.
So Mr. Beast is like, how much value, how much quality is there for you, that sort of deal. Where, yeah, I mean, he's probably shooting on GH5s,
Yep.
FX3s, maybe that might even be a lot, but in some situations, then his editing is quality, like crazy, insane editing. Now,
Every twist and turn. I mean, they are constantly moving. The pace is it's the highest paced video that you see on the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, like it never stops. The millisecond that it's about to get boring or redundant, they're
changes to something else.
they're cutting to something else.
And watch
I mean,
us blow a train up.
it's like okay. I mean, the video he's talking about is when he gives away a Lamborghini, right? And he's talking about the thumbnail and just quality control on the thumbnail, 6 renditions to get to where he needed to be. And in that video, they have like 4 or 3 different twists throughout the whole video to then get to the winner to get a Lamborghini. And it's on a driveway at some mansion. And it's like it just never stops. But the editing, you're right, the editing is crazy. It's paced like this, just never slows down, never slows down, never slows down.
Yeah.
The movie you recommended for your mom and aunt it's a slow burn. It's a very slow burn. Shot beautifully, storyline is outstanding, but it's slow and methodical. And they wanted Saw. They wanted blood, gore, guts. They wanted
pensiveness, action.
They wanted people's heads to be bashed in. Complete opposite. So your recommendation was terrible.
I have the worst movie recommendation. I'm like 10 for 10 worst movie recommendations ever. I actually think maybe I should do a movie review channel at this point where it's just like the worst movies.
That'd be funny. That would actually be hysterical. And you have to watch a movie, come in the next day, review it, and your take would be, that's one way to watch more movies. On the Quest.
Yes. Yeah.
There it is. We just figured it out.
Number one movie, Rubber. If you haven't seen it, go see it. I heard MKBHD, Marquez Brownlee, talk about quality and quantity. And this was like 3 years ago he was talking about this. And in 1 year he talked about it was like all quality. All quality. Like, let's use the highest end cameras. Let's get the robotic arms. Let's do like crazy quality. And in that year, if you go back, it was insane. I mean, the best stuff you've ever seen. But they were posting like once a month.
Yep.
And then so as a viewer, you're like, you watch one amazing video and you're like, man, I want to watch more. You only go back so far. The next year, he said quantity. Let's cap the quality.
Yep.
So it's only going to go here.
That's right there. Unfortunately, is something that a lot of creators and production companies and individuals need to understand is you still need to set your quality bar at something reasonable.
Yeah, it can't be terrible. You can't be like throw it all out the window. But he caps it, and then he does tons and tons of content. I mean, he was releasing like 3 times a week. It was insane. That year ends, and his new epiphany is like, well, that is like soul sucking. That I've so much work.
Yep.
There's not enough return for it. This year, we're gonna do more, but we're going to do it better. So we're not going to just focus on more. We're not just going to do quality out the gate all the time, quantity out the gate all the time. It's just more, and it's going to be better. And that's where he finally found his sweet spot. He's posting twice a week on one channel, once a week on another channel, like his podcast channel. And it's hyper focused. There is a cap on the quality. They're not going absolutely insane.
Yep.
But it's still what we want. The viewers are still happy. And because of finding that perfect balance, his return, his views, his impressions, his CRM, it's all gone through the roof for him. He actually, in that year, that was his figure it out, like his light bulb
the
went
epiphany
on moment. And his channel blew up for the best. I mean, that year he was going on with Elon. He was going on with Mark Zuckerberg. He was doing collabs with Apple. It was his biggest moments, you know. And now he's just going crazy. So years ago, I had heard that more better thing, and that resonated in my mind. And what still is in my mind right now is like, you know, you can drop every day of the week all the time, but then you have to expect to be at your desk for hours on end into the late night, and you have to put that grind in. Is the return, maybe you do get a lot of views, but then your soul sucked.
Yep.
Right? So the return isn't just the numbers that come in on like a YouTube back end or the dollars that come in necessarily. Sometimes money doesn't matter when you're like emotionally like
Drained.
right? So, you know, I don't think anyone but Mr. Beast should be Mr. Beast. I think you have to do what works best for you.
Yeah, I mean, there's only going to be one Mr. Beast. I mean, he'll pass the torch to somebody at some point, but like it's not anytime in the near future. That man is killing it on the YouTube front and sponsorship deals and giving away money and Lamborghinis. No one's touching him right now. I mean, there's a bunch of other wannabes, sure, creators that do their own thing that have like a semblance of it, but there's only one. Yeah. I'm personally happy with where we are. I mean, we're just starting to do more long form content, kind of getting back to that storytelling element. Something that I've wanted our company to do for a little bit now is even with our own content.
It's in the name.
Right? So that's something that we're working through. We now have a monthly video that goes out long form talking about, you know, behind the scenes content, showing, you know, our personality on set, doing some giving some tidbits of information in every BTS video, which then we make into shorts, push that out, obviously keeping quality in mind, again, to a certain bar. I mean, even on this last video, I nixed one thing in the BTS video that was edited just because I didn't think didn't meet the bottom standard of quality that I would like us to have, even in a BTS video, which there's a lot of room in a BTS video to go in multiple directions, but even then, I want a certain benchmark to be met. And, I personally think we're doing better with our own content. Obviously, doing this podcast, the BTS video once a month, posting regularly, but methodically, consistently. Mm-hmm. You know, just because we're posting more often doesn't mean, again, quality needs to be kept in mind. I mean, that's who we are. We're not only storytellers, but we're quality driven as a production company. Yeah. Clients who reach out to us expect a certain threshold, and if we don't meet that threshold, what are we doing?
Right. Yeah. Even in the internal side of things, if they don't see the quality that we're posting, if this was 720p cameras, yep, be like, they do that for themselves.
Yeah. So what I would get? What are we getting? Exactly. And you don't want that. Right. You don't want them to question that. Am I getting the same, if not worse, than what they're doing for themselves? Mm-hmm. You know, our benchmark is what we're doing for ourselves. That's essentially the minimum. Yeah. That's the minimum requirement is what we're doing for ourselves, because we're only going to do better for our clients. You know, what we're delivering for ourselves is because that's the time that we can devote to an episode. That's what we can devote to a BTS video, because we're not on set filming for us only. We're on set to film for the client that's paying us to be there. Yeah. You know, the BTS that we get is just because that's the few moments of time that we can quickly grab a snippet for ourselves. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like this is a little bit of a touchy subject, but I want to talk about like what new people in the business should expect as far as like what they should earn and how simple a deal can be. So we don't have to put like too much reference on something that we're doing, but let's say we've got a $50,000 social media deal with a client, and it can be very simple on our end of like how to do it. All the processes are the complex part, like setting it all up, making sure everything's going to work, but then the action of doing it should be relatively easy because you put in all this front end work, right? I had someone call me. It's a little off topic, we'll circle back to that. I had someone call me, and they wanted to do a video every month on a month-to-month basis. Okay. And I said no. I said, you have to be on like a 6 month or a year with me. And they wanted to do one video, and they wanted to cut it into three vertical pieces of content. Okay. And it seems really reasonable, but their budget wasn't where it needed to be. It was very low. If you know who you are, I'm sorry, but it was very low, and they're notoriously low when they ask me for anything. So I've said no a lot, unfortunately. This time around, I said, I'm going to refer you to somebody who is not the greatest, who's pretty new into the industry, but they will do it for your price. And they were like, okay. And I could, just in talking to them on the phone, I could already hear them thinking, I'm going to try to go a little bit lower now that I know they're not me, right? So as soon as I get off that call, I call the person I'm going to refer, and I'm like, hey, I've referred you to someone. You should definitely take this job. It's paying you exactly what you should get paid. Do not take any less. Do not. And they're like, well, that would kind of be my like first professional job, and I don't really know this and that. I'm like, no. If you have issues, ask me. I will guide you for free, just so you can grow.
Yep.
And that this can get done, and we can all be happy in this whole deal. Well, what does it look like, and what should the processes be, and this and that. And I'm like, look, what you need to do is get them to agree, and then like a week before you do the job, spend all your time figuring out these processes, because then you can just duplicate this for the next person. And I was like, that is your bag. That's your money. Figuring out how to do it to a T and to a science, and then you duplicate it, make it easy for yourself. So, that if they get on a larger scale, where they're going to do month to month, could be like $1,000 a month for a year, could be like $12,000 for the person, and they should only really do 6 production days. And then month to month editing, basically. But I'm like, just do 1 day of editing, get it all done, maximize your time, maximize your money. So for like a $50,000 deal, I want people to understand that doesn't have to be. People get afraid that that's going to be so much work. How am I going to manage this? You and I know that it is a lot of work up front, but once you get into a real rhythm, and once you've figured out your workflow seams, shout out workflow seams, then it can be easy. So like, what is kind of this, a macro vision of it, so we don't get too into the weeds and kind of point out anybody? What is like a $50,000 deal? When you hear that, do you think, how are we going to do this? Or do you think, oh, we can do this?
Oh, when I hear a $50,000 deal, I know exactly when.
Hey, no cuts, no cut. No,
I'm not cutting at all. I just
timestamp.
I realized that I had a very terrible sentence structure there, and my brain spasmed. When I hear a $50,000 deal, I know we can handle it, and I have no concerns. The truth of the matter is, you have to have your first $50,000 deal to find out what your process is.
Yes, thank you. Go in on this.
You are not going to be time efficient on your first $50,000 deal. There's no chance. You can think all you want that you're going to be time efficient. You're going to have this process down and this process down and this process down. You're going to go from A, B to C seamlessly. You're not. You're going to go from A to F to B to W to C and somehow end up at Z and your head's going to be spinning going, well, I still got paid $50,000, but I had 5, 6, 10 unnecessary steps to get there. You have to it could be a successful job. I'm not saying you're going to fail. The job could be a mighty success.
Yeah, for all the conversation about this, it should be based on it being a success.
Yeah, in the end, you're gonna have check in hand, hit the bank account. Job was a success. Gonna get a 5-star review. That's how this conversation's. Yeah, this is how this conversation is gonna go. But your time management skills are going to be put to the test. Your processes are going to be put to the test, and you're going to come out the other side better for it. You have to say yes to that first job. That's really what it comes down to. I'm going to tell you right now, our first $50,000 job, looking back, I say I would give us a 3 out of 5 stars. I think the client was very happy with us. I think the product that we delivered was a success, but we lost 1 star solely on time management. I would say we lost 1 star due to processes in place. We lost half a star on time management and half a star on team management.
How many years ago is this? So I can try to think of what we're talking about. Because obviously we're teetering a line of not saying names.
Oh yeah,
right?
I'm not saying names
Was
at all.
Was this 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
This would have been 3 years ago.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about.
3, 1, 2.
Viewers are screaming right now.
Right, 3 years ago, I think.
Try to figure it out, guys.
Yeah, no, good luck.
But that...
4. It was 4 years ago.
Okay.
All right, it was 4 years ago. Let that sink in. If you're like, all right, I I'm trying
Flip back the calendar, 2020.
right, 2020. So, but yeah, I mean, I'd say we gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, or I would give us 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
Again, client I think was remarkably happy. To this day, have never heard anything negative from them.
Yeah.
I just think that we could have been better. Now, some tangible things, like I said, I think we lost half a star on ourselves because of team management, and that's on me. That fell on me. It still falls on me. I didn't properly utilize our team and our resources internally to get the job done efficiently. I had a few people not doing what they're best suited for.
Sure.
And that's what I figured out after the fact, right?
Yeah.
Make some micro tweaks.
Yeah.
Ta-da. And then half a star on time management. Again, few things here and there could have been better. Like, oh, this hour-and-a-half call with the client should have been 1 hour. Oh my God. This email that took me 20 minutes to write should have only taken me 10 minutes to write.
Yes.
This text exchange, I spent 30 minutes texting back and forth when I should have cut it off here, and it would have taken me 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So these are all things that needed to happen, but they could have just happened a little faster and a little more efficient, hence the time component.
Yeah.
The processes, though, that's where we lost a whole star in the process. But obviously we gained it later. We learned how our processes need to be implemented. I mean, we utilize Asana, we utilize invoicing and proposal programs that make our life easier that I was not using back in 2020.
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to, is realizing, I need to use there's software developed for us, for not only our industry, but other industries. I mean, Asana's a free platform that you can pay for a paid version. There's free versions. But that alone, project management wise, is amazing. You need that if you're going to have a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $100,000 job.
Yep.
You can't just write everything on a sticky note or a notebook. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
If talk about failing, you're no longer going to have a successful job if you're writing everything in a notebook.
I know people today who do that, and they struggle.
You're not going to succeed.
You're out of your mind. Yeah. So what a $50,000 job looks like is there's something called vampire tasks, which we'll talk about on the next episode. But what people will start doing the first time getting this big job is they're going to do 90% of their day is going to be the work that needs to get done to actually get the work done. And it's all these tasks that you just mentioned.
Yep.
This hour-long phone call,
Yep.
talking to everybody, sending out invoices that are optimized, not being efficient with your time because you have to do 10 tasks to get one thing done. These subsidiary processes that don't matter, that don't actually get anything done, but you think is the way to do it.
Yep.
That's your A to B to Z to Q, sort of deal. And that's exactly what I was telling this person who I refer this job to. Is I was I'm going to tell you exactly how you do it.
Yep.
Do not deviate from this, right? Unless you figure out something I don't know, tell me, let me know. But don't deviate from this, because this is your $50,000 job, right? And was it Robbie we talked to us about? You and I talked to someone recently where it's do not penalize us for being fast.
Yeah.
I don't remember who we were talking to.
Yeah, we were not
It wasn't
talking
Robbie?
about, it was not Robbie. We were talking off camera.
Okay. And that's what a $50,000 job looks like. It looks seamless.
Yep.
It looks effortless, because you've put in all the work ahead of time to make it that way. So then your client is like, wow, you guys are good. Like, you get things done really fast.
Yep.
Everything we wanted for this month is done.
Yep.
In like posted, and we don't even have to call you the rest of the month because we know it's good. That's what it looks like. That's a $50,000 job. A $5,000 job doesn't look like that.
No.
That's why a lot of people, you get to a point where you don't take those.
And I mean, we still take $5,000 jobs, but they just look very different than they used to.
There's a company in the Tampa area who we won't name that won't take a $5,000 job and has isolated themselves because they don't have the C team or the B team or whatever they need to do those things.
I like how we're talking to a mysterious person on this couch that's not here, because in this situation we both have done it twice.
Yeah, screw you. Whoever you are. This is all the oppositions. It's like everyone we're going to talk negatively about is on this couch.
The empty couch at this particular moment. But no, you said something that really resonated, was the time management element. Is you have to use your time properly, but you can only figure out what that looks like after taking these jobs.
Yep.
Right? And a $5,000 job and a $50,000 job will look different 3-4 years from now because you took it. So this person that
the chicken before the egg thing.
Yeah. This person that you're talking to that, you made the phone call and told them, like, you have to take this job. Don't cut yourself any lower, monetarily speaking. They're going to figure out a lot. They're going to figure out their process. They're going to figure out what needs to be addressed. And that's, you have to take the jobs. Like, that's something that just, if you have a job handed to you that is above your means, you have to be willing to spend some of that money to incorporate a freelancer or a buddy into the job to help you elevate yourself. And that's something that a lot of people, I think, don't want to do. They want to take this $50,000 job and hoard all the money.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
That camera just stopped.
It's saved.
Awesome.
I can fix that. Don't worry about it.
Did the battery die?
It must have. That wasn't even the one that was at 65%. That was 100.
Oh, the other one's
Hello.
still good? All right.
Yeah, they're good. Do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I mean, we're planning on wrapping it anyway. All right, well, tech malfunction. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, I would just...
My toxic trait's not charging batteries.
Yeah. I would just tell your buddy to not shy away from this job that he was just handed to him.
Yeah.
It didn't work for you, but it's going to work for him. I would just tell him that he's going to have time management issues. He's going to have processing issues. Guaranteed. Has to power through them. He's going to have a few late nights. He might have some early mornings. He's going to realize after the fact that he wasted 10, 15, 20 hours somewhere along the lines. But this job is what's going to make the next one easier. And 10 jobs from now, he's going to be a whiz at time management, and he's going to have his processes down. I mean, I can dive into more detail on another episode on how our processes have grown throughout the years. And just this year alone, I mean, I've already implemented changes that you're aware of that have made our processes that much smoother. Processes that you've implemented, but we shouldn't be penalized by a client for having solid time management skills. Just because we did something in 3 hours instead of 10 doesn't mean you shouldn't pay us for those 10 hours.
Yeah. So we put 10 years into this.
Exactly. We figured it out. And that's why some of our hourly charges are what they are. They might on the surface be high or higher. We might just accomplish the job in 5 hours. But the irony is someone who has a lower hourly wage might bill them 10 hours. We're billing them 5 at a higher rate. Someone might take 10 hours at a lower rate, and they might end up being the same.
And you know what people want to? They want their stuff faster.
That's what's crazy.
So yeah, you might pay the same dollars, but it's going to take you 10 days.
Yeah. When we might do it in 5 or 3 or whatever. And we have a team that can each handle a certain task. All right.
I know,
Ryan's
we're
about to
gonna
walk.
keep going.
Yeah,
We're gonna
Ryan's about to
ramble.
walk in, so we might as
Ryan's
well.
gonna walk. Is he on the next episode? No.
No.
Ryan, you're never getting on, buddy. One day.
All right. See ya.